Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
Then comes about that these inventions brought about revolutionary changes in the cotton textile industries and the production of cloth increased manifold. House spinning rapidly gave way to a number of factories and owned and worked by the capitalists. Very interesting. Now, industrial chemistry. So first of all, we must have to know about that. Why the science terminology is being used over here. What's the use of this science terminology here? Industrial chemistry. So, what is the meaning of chemistry? This means that the composition now. Structure. What it is? Composition, structure, changes. So this is the industrial chemistry. So this is the heading is given like that, industrial chemistry. What changes were introduced? What were the composition? What was the structure? So everything now we are coming to discuss inside. These are all the headlines only given over here. Gradually we are coming to discuss point wise. First of all, coming to discuss about steam power. This is the invention. It is a cheap and portable source of power. Generally revolutionized the industrial system. Thomas Savery. Who is related to this? Thomas Savery. Thomas Savery invented a model of steam engine which was called the miner's frame. Miners here means that the mining work. The laborers and the workers who they are working in mines. Like the mines means where? Coal mines. So it is known as the steam power which is invented by Thomas Savery is when given the name of the miner's friend. And this steam power was known as miner's friend. Then it is about that in 1698 to drain the mines. After this, the mining work when it is done, dug inside the earth, the water comes. So how to drain out the water from the mines, this steam power has been used. So it is named as miner's friend. In 1715, Newcomen. This is the another inventor. Newcomen, what he did? He built another steam engine which was also used only for pumping water out from the coal mines. Just like as the Thomas Savery, Newcomen also did the same to drain out the water from the coal mines. Then finally coming to discuss about the James Watt. Moment this name comes about this steam engine, this name reflects in our mind. It is James Watt. He invented a political and economical steam engine. What was the name given? Political and economical steam engine. He made the steam engine, system of engine that practical mover of all kinds of machinery, not only for the pumping. Like Thomas Savery or Newcomen, he did not develop such type of the steam power. But the steam power invented by James Watt, which is named as a political and economical steam engine, can be used to run any of the machine. By the year 1790, every kind of machinery was driving or deriving its power from Watt's invention, and steam engine technology was further developed with the use of lighter and stronger metals. By 1840s, British steam engines were generating more than 70% of all European steam power. Entire the European continent, and their 70% was been used by and the steam power was generated by Britain only. So this was the importance of steam power. Three inventors were there. First Thomas Savery, second Newcomen, and finally James Watt. Then it comes this revolution in coal and iron and steel. What revolution is been experienced in this coal, iron and steel? Inside this, we have to discuss about contribution of Abraham Darby, Henry Cort, and Davy's safety lamp. So the coal, iron and steel industry also witnessed a revolution. In early 18th century, Abraham Darby, 3 Darbys were there. So first, Abraham Darby made an important discovery that coke instead of charcoal can be used for smelting. This is now smelting is a process to extract the iron from the ore. So this smelting work, they use the coke. Coking coal was not giving sufficient heat. So too much that the coke was required. Coking coal was required for the smelting process. So he invented charcoal, which can be used for smelting, and in AD 1784, Henry Cort introduced new method of rolling and puddling iron. So how to roll these irons, how to do the puddling work, all such this process first with the invention, with the use of in place of the coking coal, charcoal was used for the smelting process of the iron. Then Henry Cort has used this new method of rolling and the puddling of iron. Then the developments of prime importance were Davy's safety lamp. Davy's safety lamp was very important for the miners, for the mine laborers, who they are going deep inside the mines. It's a lamp overhead which gives them the light to move inside the deep of the mines, inside the cave. So this way the improvement in the method of casting hard steel was also developed. The age of coal, iron and steam had begun, and these forces were transformed the condition of human life. Not only these inventions were only given the growth to the industries, but it has developed the human life also. At a stroke, these discoveries multiplied many-fold of wealth of Britain. And what is the final output? Britain is earning huge wealth with these industries by using of these all the new methods, all the new inventions in their factories. This is Davy's safety lamp. The age of coal, iron and steam had begun, and these forces were to transform the condition of human life. At a stroke, these discoveries multiplied many-fold the wealth of Britain, and the country became very wealthy. Her power of maintaining an increased population and the services she could render to the world. And this way, this Britain gained popularity as a wealthy country in the world. The iron and steel industries, which made rapid progress during this period due to the various reasons. What were the reason behind it? How and why? How these industries, they did the rapid progress? What were the reasons behind it? So first of all, coming to discuss about that, the demand for iron and steel increased rapidly due to the railway development since 1821. So what it says about that, this is, then secondly it is in AD 1850, the shipping industries began to make progress, and this industry created further demand for iron and steel since the building of iron and steel ships began in 1850s. Before this 1850s, these ships were made up of wood, the timber which can means durable in the water. That particular type of the wood were used for the making of the or manufacturing of the ships. But by the year of the 1850s, the steel has been started using for the building of the ships. First reason is the rapid growth of the railway transport system. In 1821, 1850s, now the shipbuilding work has been started with the use of the iron and steel. The third is the foreign demand for British iron and steel also steadily increased. There is a demand which also increased from the foreign countries. So these were the reasons for the growth and the progress, rapid progress during the period of the 18th and the 19th century from Britain. Iron and steel was great in demand not only in their own country but throughout the world. In a simple way, can be learned like that way. Yes, the development in railway, demand were increased. Shipbuilding was now started being done by the use of iron and steel and the foreign demand. So these were the three demands. Under these three headings, we can remember this. This is all the coal-filled area of the Britain. And this is all, whatever the dotted given in the textbook also. This is the same map. These are the industrial cities of Great Britain. Topmost it is written over here at the top, Scotland is there. Iron and steel and the coal manufacturing area. These two maps are showing all these. In AD 1770s, John Wilkinson, he has developed the first iron chair. Very important it is. First iron chair was built by John Wilkinson. Then other things also which has been done by him. Vats for breweries and distilleries and iron pipes of various sizes. Vats means that the large tank actually. Huge tank. Large means what? Vats is a huge tank which is used basically in the industries or beer industries we can see. Vats for breweries. Breweries means the beer industries. And the distilleries. Distilleries, alcoholic liquors. To keep or to they need to store in these large tanks which were also developed by John Wilkinson, as well as the iron pipes of various sizes which can be used for the construction work. So these are the things which has been developed by John Wilkinson. First iron chair, then vats for breweries and the distilleries, iron pipes of various sizes. So can be organized in a three different parts. Then next it is about that in AD 1779. It is in 1770s, John Wilkinson. Earlier also we have discussed about Darby. Now this is the third Darby. His contribution. He built the first iron bridge in the world, which is known as Colebrook Lead, spanning the river Severn. This is the use of the iron and steel. First, Darby, he has developed the coking for the smelting. Coking coal was taking lots of time and the purity was not coming like that. So he has developed charcoal for the smelting processes. This is the third Darby. He has built the first iron bridge in the world, which is Colebrook Lead and spanning over the river Severn. Coal industry had great share in the industrialization. This is in England, the coal industries, they have their great contribution and great share. The industry had no problem of raw material or market. This is the output of the coal, which was 10 million tons in AD 1800, rose to 300 million tons in AD 1918. So this is also, this coal industry also had given their great share in the industrial revolution during the period of industrialization in Great Britain. Now it is canals, railways and communication. Revolution in transport. This is revolution in transport system and communication, which is The period mentioned here is 18th and the 19th century. Our topic is only based on that 18th and 19th century. So first of all, the remarkable changes which were also brought about in the means of transport and communication. First of all, roads. Coming to discuss about the roads. John Macadam, a Scottish engineer from Scotland, so he is known as Scottish engineer, discovered the use of small stones in the building of good roads. So John Macadam, what he did, first time he used the small size stones in the building of good roads. He was an engineer from Scotland, and the engineers like Telford and the Metcalfe also assisted in the construction of new roads. The whole road system of Britain was revolutionized in the 19th century, and Britain had 1,000 miles of new macadamized roads. So this way, with the contribution of some of that, the engineers, they have developed a new idea about the communication road and transport communication system. Then second, it comes about canals. What is the canal system? What was its use and why it has been constructed in Britain during Industrial Revolution? In the beginning, the canals were built to transport coal to the cities. This is the importance. The canals were actually built for the transportation system. In those days, vehicles means what? Ship were there. And it was a bulky and the heavy load. Easily, it was transported with the help of the ships. So the canal system was developed. After the canals were completed, the price of coal fell by half. Because by the road, it takes very long period of time and it was costly also. But with the introduction of and with the construction of canals, the price of the coal became half. The pioneer of the revolution in waterways was the Duke of Bridgewater. This is the Duke of Bridgewater. He employed the great canal engineer and Brindley, who designed the famous canal from Worsley to Manchester. This was the first canal, the famous canal actually. The famous canal was built from Worsley to Manchester. This is later on many new canals opened up the industrial areas of Lancashire and Yorkshire. These were the two prominent the industrial towns and the industrial cities of Great Britain. And the Yorkshire, the coalfields were also there. The confluence of canals created marketing centers. For instance, the city of Birmingham owed its growth to its position at the heart of canal system connecting London, the Bristol Channel, Mersey and the Humber rivers. So this way, these canals also, they became very important and their impact was also there on the development of the and growth of the industries in England. Next is locomotives and railways. The most important invention of this period was the invention of locomotive of George Stephenson. Who was he? He was George Stephenson. He was the inventor of this locomotive, who is generally called the father of the steam locomotive. He is also known as father of steam locomotive. Then his locomotive called Puffing Billy. What was the name given to his locomotive? It is Puffing Billy. and he began the modern railway system. This Puffing Billy, the name of the locomotive which was developed by George Stephenson, also known as the father of this steam locomotive, and the name of his locomotive was Puffing Billy, and it gave the modern railway, it developed the modern railway system. The railway proved most beneficial to the country, and the railways emerged as a new means of transportation that was available throughout the year. They were cheap and fast means of carrying goods and passengers. They combined two inventions. What were there? What were the two inventions is been combined with this? Number one, it is the iron track. Iron track which connected the cities of Stockton and Darlington in 1825 AD, and a distance of 9 miles. The next railway was connecting. This is, the first was that the iron track which replaced the wooden track. Iron track was replaced by wooden track. Then next is, the second one is the howlays by steam engine. The bulky loads. Howlays by steam engines. The first railway line in England which connected the city of the Stockton to the Darlington in 1825 AD, and a distance of 9 miles it covered. The first steam engine when it was introduced, the first railway system when it was introduced. The next railway line connected Liverpool and Manchester in 1830, and within 20 years, the trains were running at a speed between 30 to 50 miles an hour. So this way the rapid development and the growth was there in the railway transport system in England. Later on, the steamboats also began to be used, and the whole transport system in England was revolutionized. So this way, with this, the George Stephenson's his invention of the locomotive and the growth of the railway transport system was introduced in throughout the England, and gradually they have started carrying and giving the development of the country. Then the problem created by the use of canals also helped in the development of the railways. In 1830s, canals revealed several problems. The congestion of the vessels in the canals and made the movement slow on certain stretches of canals. So many that the ships were there. Many vessels were there. So congestion was there, traffic congestion was there. Then on certain stretches of canals and the frost of drought, that also limited the time of their use. The railway now appeared as a convenient alternative, and it is available throughout the year. About the 6,000 miles of railways were opened in Britain during 1830s and the 1850s. In the period of the 1830s and 1850s, 6,000 miles of the railway system has been developed in England. Then the last one, it comes about communications. Communications means the postal system, which started in England in 1840s. In 1840s, it started communication here in the context of the postal system. The communication by electricity was a great invention of the third of this period, and in 1839, Morse, M-O-R-S-E, this is the Morse. Morse invented telegraph. His invention was telegraph. And inventor is Morse. This is with the use of the electricity, this was the great invention done by Morse. Bell introduced telephone, and in 1896, Marconi invented wireless. So this is the gradual development in the communication. First of all, Morse, he has developed this telegram system. Earlier, the penny postal system was started in England in 1840s. 1839, Morse has developed electricity, communication by electricity. Then Bell has introduced telephone and Marconi invented wireless. Then farming machinery. McCormick invented reaper in 1843 and steam-driven plough and cultivators in 1850s. This is also that the great achievement of this McCormick, who has invented the reaper. Earlier all such things were done by hand, and the steam-driven plough were also been used for the cultivation of the land. Then it comes pattern of growth and effects of the Industrial Revolution. A change in the lives of the people. Under this heading, now we are coming to discuss how the lives of the common people, like the workers, how it is changed, how their life were affected during the Industrial Revolution. During this period, the rapid growth of industries, individuals who had talent to bring about revolutionary changes made their mark. Who they were having the ability, they have changed dramatically. Similarly, the rich individuals who were prepared to take risks invested their new money in the industries with the hope to make the huge profits. With this hope only they have started investment in the industries with the mass wealth, with the risk they have started doing their investment. Most of the industrialists dramatically increased their capital, wealth in the form of goods, earnings, services, knowledge and productive efficiency. But at the same time, this economic progress had some negative impact also on the society. Positive is that whatever the money they have started investing in the industries to make the huge profit. But it has its negative impact also. This was visible in broken families, new addresses, insanitary conditions, and miserable working conditions in the cities. This is in England, there was large increase in the number of cities with population of over 50,000. Cities were increased with the establishment of the industries, with the introduction of the industries. The moment industries established in the area, the city grew. So their number arose from 2 in AD 1750 to 29 in AD 1850. 2 cities were there. Now 29 were there. And uncontrolled growth of cities was not accompanied by the provision of adequate housing. Earning was there. Job employment was there. But the living spaces were not there. Housing, sanitation, supply of clean water, clean drinking water for the growing urban population were not available. This was the negative impact. The poor migrant laborers from the rural areas were forced to live in overcrowded slums in the towns near the factories, so they can commute easily to these places. The rich inhabitants shifted to the new homes in the suburbs where the air was cleaner and the water was safer to drink. So now the economic effect was that what? The rich and the poor section. The workers, the laborers, the poor laborers, they have started living nearby the factories, nearby the industries, and the wealthy workers, the rich people, they are living in suburbs, means away from the industries where they can get the clean air to breathe and the clean water to drink. This is about the lives of the people, both the way, the rich and the poor. Now coming to discuss about the condition of workers. What happened to the workers? This is the workers, the emergence of the working class, new relations between the capital and labor. This is a new type of the relation developed. One of the most serious result of the Industrial Revolution and its product factory system was the emergence of new relation between the capital and labor, between the employer and the employee. Capital and labor and the employer and the employee. Then what it says about that? The concentration of dependent proletariat in the towns. This is the fact and the impact of this was that they have the sharp differences between the two classes, the proletarian class and the capitalist class. Proletariat means that the working or the wage earning laborers. The labor class, actually we can say that, and the employees who they were earning their wages. There is the sharp division between these two, the proletariat class and the capitalist class. This is the wage earning laborers. Then it comes about that the working class became very poor and the wealth was concentrated in the hands of the rich capitalists. The capitalist exploited labor to increase his profits. In the domestic system of production, the differences between the master and the worker were not so sharp and pronounced. The growth of the factory system weakened the close relation between the master and man, which had marked the domestic system, laid down the beginning of the struggle between the capital and the labor. Now, due to the concentration of wealth in the hands of the capitalists, it created a situation of the conflict or a wide gap between the capitalist and the labor. So, this term proletariat has been used in the chapter. Concentration of dependent proletariat in towns. This is the factory system resulted in the migration of population from small agricultural villages to cities in search of the job. A large working class, which was the propertyless, or they were the landless laborers. They were illiterate. Rate of literacy was very low, even in European continent also in those days, during the beginning of the industrialization. They dependent upon that. The wage earning for their living grew up and massed in numbers in the cities. With the establishment of the large factories, new industrial towns like Manchester, Lancashire, Sheffield, that sprang up with a vast population of urban proletariat, urban working class, congestion and unsatisfactory living condition of laborer. Under this, we are coming to discuss about that. The industrial revolution in the transitional period, which increased the wealth without producing human well-being. They are producing the wealth, but not thinking about that, the human welfare. These capitalists, they are not taking care of the health of their workers. The employers cared only for their own interest and were criminally unsympathetic to the health and the most moral of the workmen. Both. Neither they are taking care of their health. They were not having any sympathy to their workers, to their laborers, and they were not having any moral for their workers. According to Dance, DANCE, according to Dance, a historian, a philosopher, he has given his idea about that. Most of the factories were cramped, dirty, unhealthy places, merely to work in. This is according to the Dance, he has given his idea, his view about that, the factory and the working condition inside the factory. William Blake also called the new factories at the dark satanic mills, and the workers had to work from 12 to 16 hours a day without a break. The worker lived in dark, dingy quarters and in congestion. The employer had no concern for the welfare of the wages earners and offered small wages in return for long hours in unhealthy factories. 10 to 12 hours was the working, and in a very miserable condition. very unhealthy condition. So the factory became virtual prisons where men and children toiled for long hours and snatched a scanty slip amid bad air and foul smells. So always they have a faulty sleep, like this feeling due to the bad smell of the factories. Bad smell which comes out from the machines. But once the transitional period was over, the condition of the workers greatly improved and they were physically better off, worked in ventilated factories, and no longer ate, drank, and slept with the refuse of their work. Then next it is about the mass employment. What it is there. With the age coming of the age of machine, there appeared a new social phenomenon, the chronic mass unemployment. This is before that in machines, the employment rate was very high. But with the introduction of the machines, now the many people, they were unemployed. As the supply of the labor was generally more than the demand and the workers were without any independent means of earning, the fear of loss of job became a constant fear in the mind of the proletariat. I think so that meaning of the proletariat is clear over here. The wage earning class. So the large scale shutdowns as a consequence of business depressions worsened the situation many times. Mass unemployment, a prominent feature of the modern history, became one of the gravest social problems arising from the mechanization of industries. So this is the impact of the implementation of the machinery in the factories, in the industries, and it gave the rise to the unemployment. Emergence of labor as a political force now. The proletariat, although the industrial revolution created a new political force, creation of a new political force. That is the proletariat. What we have to use this emergence of the political force? It is proletariat. New working class, the wage earning class. Already we have discussed about that. The illiteracy rate was very high. This class was hampered by poverty, not having that their property in their villages. They were landless or propertyless. Now what they did, they have started forming their trade union. Earlier it was lack of leadership and developed a feeling of common consciousness. So now the workers, they have started forming their own trade unions where they restored the political agitation for their collective and individual interest, both the way, for their entire group and for the individual. To ensure that decent conditions, a standard wage, decent condition of working, a standard wage, and the shorter hours of work. This was the demand. Because they have, how it is said that the emergence of labor as a political force. And this political force, the members were the proletariat. They formed their own union, trade union, and they have planned out to put up their demand. And their demand was that less working hour, the standard wage, and the decent working conditions. With the advance of democracy, the proletariat became stronger and powerful politically, and they began to sow its influence directly in elections and the plebiscites. Direct taking decisions is known as the plebiscites. Directly the people, they gathered together to take the decision whether yes or no. The slowness of the improvement in the economic condition of the workers and the bitter composition on the part of the capitalist gave the rise to radical ideas. So this way, the pattern of growth and effects of industrial revolution and the change of the lives of the people affected. Then it is about that the women, children and industrialization. The condition of women as an employee, the children in factories. This is the picture related to this, the women and the children. These women and the children, they The employers prefer to employ women and children, particularly in the textile industries. This is also a great question for this reason. What is the reason behind it? Why they prefer women and children in the factories, especially in cotton textile industries? In some factories, the children ranging in ages from 6 to 12 work from 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning till 10 or 11 at night with only 1 hour for dinner break. Children of the pauper parents were farmed out to the factory owners on the terms amounting to slavery. This is the system of the slavery was there. Early morning, the pauper children were taken to the mills where in stench, heated rooms and constant outwhirling of 1,000 wheels, tiny fingers and the little feet were kept in ceaseless action. Many of the children, their fingers were chopped, as because of that, the long duration of the working hours. If suppose they were suspected to a desire to run away in order to escape from their unbearable misery, they were regarded as criminals. Imagine about that. What type of that the allegation were put up on them. If suppose they do not want to work, to move out from these miseries, they have been regarded as criminals. Mercilessly chained to the machine wheels which they operated. So they have tied with the chain. Such conditions of work deteriorated the health and the moral of the children. Employment of children and women was not new, but it was novel under the factory system to employ them away from their homes and the larger numbers. So the employment of the children and women at very low wages had the effect of the lowering of the wages. Why these women and children were preferred? Because they were not equally paid like the male members for the same work. So the preference were given by these industrialists to the women. The hideous conditions is the worst conditions. However, lasted for not more than half a century in England. The conditions of their work became better through the agitation for reforms and the awakening of the political consciousness. And the ultimate effect of the factory system is as regards children was decidedly better. Their exploitation in the domestic system became very difficult, and their wretched condition in mines was brought to light and drastically dealt with it. So this way, the women, children and the industrialization and the entire life was very miserable for them. Low wages. If suppose they want to move out from the industries, they have been tied with the chains. So this condition very unsympathetically, without moralless this industrialist, they employ this children and the women in the factory. So this section is over now.